You know, my friend, we did talk about your experience in the last video. At least one person commented that they doubted your active participation in the Great Tomato Wars. Mostly because they doubted that even existed. If it did, would Klingons sing about it? Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. And this month we're going to be talking once again about Aerialbots and Constructicons. Although the first two guys we already covered their G1 versions in earlier videos. But now we get to take a look at the modern version. So first up we'll take a look at the Age of the Primes release of Slingshot. This one is done up to be a more cartoon-accurate version of the character. And like the original, he'll transform into a unlicensed approximation of a sea harrier. Now he's a deluxe class figure, like many of the other Aerialbots will also be deluxe class. Save for Silverbolt, their leader, he will be a commander class. And right here we'll put next to him his Generation 1 counterpart. And as you can see, he does do a good job of resembling the original toy. Although this time around he has bonus feature of having extra guns. For the benefit of those of you who may have missed the original video, we'll give a brief background on the Slingshot, although keep an eye up there in the corner. We'll have a link to the previous video if you want to go back and check the full review of this version. The original Slingshot toy was released back in 1986. It would also be available in 87 and would be discontinued for 88. Slingshot was the arrogant member of the team, as he liked to overstate his own accomplishments, mainly due to a lack of self-confidence in himself. And while that could get on everybody's nerves at some point, he did have some support from Optimus Prime, due to the fact that Prime did see that there was some potential in Slingshot and his abilities. Probably the greatest asset that he brings to the team is the fact that he is a Sea Harrier as an alt mode. That makes him the only Aerialbot that is capable of vertical takeoff and landings. Somewhat essentially allowing Slingshot to get to places that the other Aerialbots would have some difficulties with. Although, if we are to take the cartoon as canon, and there are a fair amount of people who will, seeing as they can flip into robot mode and land, plus also flip into jet mode from the surface and instantly take off, that kind of makes that bit a little bit redundant, but you get the general idea. Alright, we're going to take the G1 figure out of the way for the moment. And we'll take a look here at Slingshot's only accessory. He comes with two guns. They are double-barreled blasters. Which is kind of interesting due to the fact that the original blaster that the G1 toy came with was only a single-barreled gun, so quite a change. Plus, of course, if you'd rather not have him store the weapon, have him hold the weapons in his hands, you can also store the weapons onto his wings. Of course, that's where they will wind up when you transform him into his jet mode. Now, let's take a look at Slingshot's articulation, and he has what's pretty much standard for a deluxe class figure. His head can be turned from side to side, and it is on a ball joint, so it will look up and down. You can raise his arm up about so far. You can rotate the arm at the shoulder all the way around. He's got a double jointed elbow, so that's always nice. Plus you can turn his arms at the bicep, giving him G.I. Joe battle grip. He can be twisted here at his hips. You can spread his legs apart into a full splits. He does have a pretty decent thigh cut, although the kibble from the airplane does tend to get in the way of it a bit. You can raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees, and you can bend his leg at the knee 90 degrees. So all in all, pretty standard articulation. And sort of decently well done. Alright, to transform Slingshot into his jet mode, we can't show you how to shift him to be for Superion, because like with the Stunticons 2 years ago, their instructions for that will be included with the leader. But I will point out though that these grooves here on his chest, these are likely to help connect him, because Superion will have a similar skeletal frame that Menasor did. Alright, getting back to transforming Slingshot. We start by rotating his head all the way around. Plus, if you want to have him seated on the ground, you will need to flip down this part here so it brings down the front landing gear. Then now once you've done that, make sure that his arms are fully straight like so, and then bend them at both elbow joints so that they fold up and touch his arms. In actuality, we turn them around to go to the back side and then fold them up on the back side. So they're like that. Then we come back around and then you start to shift them up at the shoulders. Because then we're going to fold the arms inside. You'll see here alongside his back there is a large post, and it should line up with the hole on his forearms. Just line them up, press them in. And you'll come back to his backside. We fold out the cockpit section, and then we will fold it up. There are a couple of tabs here on the sides near the cockpit, and those will line up with some slots on his shoulders. Just bring them up and lock them into place. Just like that. Then you come down here to his legs, and you will press his legs together. Then you're going to fold down this section here on his thigh, on his lower legs, and then fold his legs inside, like so. Going to keep a little bit of a gap available. You also need to adjust it here on his back so that you got him in smooth. Once that's done, you can then fold those pieces back up to lock his legs in. And now you will fold down his feet. Come back here to his back and fold down heels of his feet. Fold up the tail wing, and then bring the wings down. And then there you have it. Slingshot is now in his Harrier jet mode. And of course, like we said earlier, for some added fun, you can attach the guns under his wings. And then there you have it. And of course, right here is the Generation 1 version. And it is nice to see that they kept some of the details that were on the original toy. Like we still have the black nose, the orange cockpit. And we do have a similar set of stripes on the wings like the Generation 1 toy. Unfortunately, they didn't retain that with the tail fin, but it's still predominantly blue, so we can go with that. And we also have dual Autobot insignias on the wings. It even has black lines going down the plane to invoke the folding rods that were used on the Generation 1 toy. But the only thing we're missing is something to be representative of the rub sign. And of course, it raises up and down pretty good. And like any good airplane toy, he also swooshes pretty good. So all in all, a very nice looking toy. So now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of this version of Slingshot? I find it a great improvement over the original one, to be honest with you folks. This is a well-made new version of the classic figure. And it does pay a lot of homage to it, which I do like as a G1 fan and collector. And it makes me look forward to how Superion will turn out. So hopefully here in a few months we'll be able to find a way to make sure we can secure Superion to show here on the channel. But at any rate, that's my look at the Age of the Primes version of Slingshot. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please do remember that if you love the content we feature on this channel, I would appreciate a like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.